Welcome to a Christmas like no other. Tonight, we unravel the darker side of the holiday season with 3 spine-chilling tales of terror. From Krampus's fiery wrath to a cursed Christmas feast and a snowman that comes alive with deadly intent. These stories will make you think twice about the season of joy. Prepare for a journey into the heart of Christmas horror, where every shadow hides a secret and every sound could mean doom. Stay with us and let the nightmare before Christmas unfold. Story 1. The Krampus Gift. It was Christmas Eve in the small mountain town of Black Hollow. Snow blanketed the ground, muffling the sounds of life as families gathered by their fires. 12-year-old Clara waited impatiently for midnight. Her family's tradition was to open one gift at the stroke of 12. Her parents had brought home a mysterious black box wrapped in crimson ribbon, claiming it came from a distant relative. Clara's curiosity burned. Her older brother, Jacob, teased her mercilessly. "What if it's a curse? You know what Grandma always said about gifts that come without a name." Clara rolled her eyes but couldn't shake the unease creeping up her spine. The old tales of Krampus, the Christmas demon who punished naughty children, flickered in her memory. As midnight neared, the family gathered around the tree. Clara tore open the black box, revealing an intricately carved wooden figure of a goat-headed creature holding a bundle of twigs. The air grew heavy. A faint, sour odor wafted from the figurine. Jacob laughed nervously. "Looks like Krampus himself." That night, Clara's dreams were invaded by horrific visions. A monstrous creature dragging children into the shadows, chains rattling, their screams echoing in the void. She woke to find her bedroom window wide open, snowflakes dusting her floor. On the windowsill, small hoofprints marked the snow. By morning, Jacob was gone. His bed was cold, his boots missing. Panic gripped the family as they searched the house and surrounding woods. In the distance, faint chains clattered, carried on the wind. Clara clutched the figurine, feeling its malevolence seep into her hands. That evening, Clara's parents vanished, leaving her alone in the house. The lights flickered, and a guttural growl resonated from the chimney. Clara turned to see the shadow of a horned figure crawling down the brick. It was Krampus. His eyes burned like embers, and his chains dragged across the wooden floor. Clara ran into the woods, the figurine still in her grasp. The creature's roars shook the trees. She stumbled upon a clearing, where an enormous sack squirmed and moaned. Clara's family was inside, along with countless other children. Summoning her courage, she hurled the figurine into a nearby fire pit. Krampus screamed as flames engulfed him. The sack split open, releasing the captives. As dawn broke, Clara stood in the ashes of the cursed figurine. The nightmare had ended, but the memory of Krampus's fiery eyes would haunt her forever. Story 2. The Christmas Feast. Eleanor hated Christmas. Ever since her husband left her 5 years ago, the holiday had become a bitter reminder of loneliness. This year, she was surprised to receive an invitation to a lavish Christmas dinner at the mansion on the hill, a place abandoned for decades. The invitation was unsigned but promised an unforgettable evening. Despite her misgivings, Eleanor dressed in her finest and arrived at the mansion, where she was greeted by other guests, all strangers. The host, a gaunt man in a crimson suit, welcomed them with a chilling smile. The dining hall was opulent, filled with garlands, candles, and a feast fit for royalty. As the night progressed, the guests indulged in food and wine. Eleanor noticed oddities. The meat tasted metallic, and the wine left a burning sensation in her throat. The host told stories of the house's dark past, of a family who vanished after a Christmas feast. When dessert was served, Eleanor noticed a strange symbol carved into her plate. It resembled a pentagram, and as she stared, the symbol began to glow. The room grew cold, and the candles flickered. Suddenly, the doors slammed shut. The host stood, his face contorting into a grotesque mask. "Thank you all for coming. Tonight, you'll serve a higher purpose." The guests screamed as the walls bled and shadows crawled across the floor. Eleanor fought to escape but was restrained by invisible forces. The food on the table began to writhe. The roast split open to reveal a pulsing, bloody heart. The guests were dragged to the center of the room, one by one, their bodies consumed by the darkness. Eleanor, summoning her strength, grabbed a candelabra and thrust it into the host's chest. He shrieked as his body disintegrated, breaking the spell. The mansion trembled, its walls cracking. Eleanor fled into the snowy night, the screams of the damned echoing behind her. She never spoke of that night, but every Christmas, she left a single candle burning in her window to ward off the darkness. Story 3: The Snowman. In the remote village of Frosthaven, children loved building snowmen every Christmas. This year, 9-year-old Timmy crafted a particularly eerie one. It had coal-black eyes, twisted branches for arms, and a jagged grin carved with his father's hunting knife. "That thing's creepy," his sister Maggie said, shivering. Timmy laughed it off, but that night, strange things began to happen. Footprints, too large to be human, appeared around the yard. The snowman's grin seemed wider, its coal eyes deeper. By midnight, Timmy awoke to scratching at his window. Peering out, he saw the snowman standing closer to the house, its arms reaching upward. A low growl rumbled through the frosty air. The next morning, Timmy was gone. His bed was frozen solid, and icicles hung from the ceiling. Maggie found a trail of icy footprints leading to the snowman, which now held Timmy's scarf around its neck. The villagers searched but found no trace of him. That night, Maggie heard the same scratching at her window. She grabbed a fireplace poker and went outside, determined to destroy the snowman. As she struck it, a deafening roar erupted. The snowman's eyes glowed, and it lunged at her with unnaturally long arms. Maggie fled to the church, clutching a cross. The snowman couldn't enter sacred ground, but it waited outside, its icy breath fogging the stained glass. The priest performed a blessing, melting the snowman into a puddle. Timmy was never found, but every winter, the villagers whispered of the cursed snowman that hunted the wicked and the innocent alike. Thank you for joining us on this chilling journey into the dark side of Christmas. As the snow falls and the lights twinkle, remember that not all holiday stories end in joy. Whether it's Krampus stalking the night, a cursed feast, or a snowman with a deadly grin, these tales remind us that even in the season of cheer, shadows linger. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more terrifying tales. Let us know in the comments which story kept you up at night, and if you've ever experienced a Christmas horror of your own. Until next time, stay safe, stay warm, and beware of what lurks in the winter darkness.